Hi everyone, it's the last day of the challenge, day 5, and I'm out in the Dutch countryside, and I was hoping to get some landscape photos. It's a very windy day, and it's got intermittent cloud and then sunshine, so the conditions are pretty challenging. With me today I've got my Canon 70D and my 70-200 image stabilized 2.8 lens, and that long lens is handy for reaching out and getting some of those landscapes that are a bit further away. For stuff a bit closer, I've got my standard zoom, the 17-50 IS 2.8. My tripod's in the back, so let's see if we can hunt ourselves a photo or a video. I've been driving around a little bit and it's slim pickings here. The landscape is pretty, that's for sure, but there's a difference between pretty and scenic and photogenic and something that makes a good photo. I do have one idea. In front of me is In front of me is a big empty field full of crops, and I'm just thinking of a concept that might work. I don't know if it will work. I'm wearing a really bright jacket, so I'm just thinking if I can do like a conceptual image in front of that big empty field, and we'll see if that works. I've come up with this concept. I'm looking out over this broad field that's about 2 or 3 kilometers long and a couple of kilometers wide, and I'm going to photograph myself standing in front of this long and wide empty space, and it's a conceptual photo about loneliness or some kind of drama, contemplating something. It could be used for all kinds of concepts, I think. So I've set up my tripod out there and I've put my camera here, and I've just focused on the tripod, and I've put the tripod where I'll be standing, and then I've set my camera to manual focus so that when I put my 10-second timer on, I just run to a marker there and I know my camera will be in focus. Technically it sounds good, but whether it will work out is another factor. It's a grey sky with a few clouds in it, but it's very bright. I was hoping for a more dramatic sky, and I don't have a 77mm ND filter for my Canon, so I can't really do a long shutter speed to get more drama in the sky. So we'll just see how it goes and take a shot and evaluate it. Actually, that first shot from just looking at the back of the camera didn't look as bad as I thought it would. The horizon was a bit wonky, so I've just straightened that up. I think I'll just do a series of different things, like doing a hero pose and trying some other different poses and see how that goes. Well, it's so bright out here, it's hard to tell from the back of the screen if those photos worked, but I've got a relatively good feeling, so we'll have a look in Lightroom later to see how they turned out. In the distance I see a nice picturesque row of trees on a Dutch dike, so I think I'll take a short drive over there, and that's our next plan. Whoa, it's blowing out there. I got some video footage of the empty Dutch farmland with the row of trees in the background on the far dike and the grass in the foreground with waves of wind blowing through it. And I think that can be used by the stock agencies to illustrate the flat, windy nature of the Netherlands in some areas, and also with the trees and dikes in the background also is typically Dutch. I've just gone over the road and I've checked out another dike on the other side with a row of trees over it. It's a long way away. I think if I use the 70 to 200 Sigma, it'll be stretching it at 200 millimeters. It seems that any aperture, the Sigma 200 f2.8 is a bit soft. So what I might do is I might photograph it at 135 millimeters, and then I'll have to crop in a bit just to maintain sharpness. So that's my next objective. Let's see how that goes. Well, I've just pulled up on the side of the road here next to a cereal crop. I think it's barley or wheat, more likely barley. And I'm just going to break out the 70 to 200 and try some different focal lengths and some different framing and get some detailed shots of this crop, some up close details of the greens. And then I'm going to use the medium zoom to get some different framing shots and angles as well. And because of the wind moving through the crop, it's a good opportunity to get some nice stock footage as well. So here goes. Well, the wind's blowing what's left of my hair off my head. And I went down to the crops first with the video camera, and I got some close-ups with the video just to get the detail of the grain and the motion of the wind blowing it. Normally I probably wouldn't video a crop like that, but because of the wind there is motion, so it introduces that interest for video. The wind is blowing the grain around. It's a bit tricky to photograph if you've got it on, say, aperture priority and you're not in control of your shutter speed. So in manual I put a shutter speed of 2500, which should be enough to freeze the motion of the grain blowing in the wind. I put the aperture on 6.3 to give me enough depth of field to capture all the detail that I wanted, and I'm happy with those shots. Let's hope that the Lightroom reflects the same results when I get them back home. Well, I got a number of shots that I'm pretty happy with there. I got some nice, simple, minimalistic shots of the poplars on the dike. I got some nice wide-angle close-up shots of the grains with the field in the background, and at that moment the light kind of changed and I think a bit of sun came through the clouds and everything glowed a little bit more. So the contrast between the dark sky and this bright green field looked quite pretty on the back of the camera anyway. Well, we took a number of different shots on this challenge, ranging from conceptual shots to detailed shots to general landscape shots. And I think that is it for the last day of my 5-day microstock challenge. Have you guys been doing a similar challenge to keep yourselves motivated? If you have, just let me know in the comments how it's been going. I'd really like to hear. or if you have any tips for any future ideas that you've been trying out or you would like me to try out. Anyway, I hope you liked this 5-day in a row vlog. Let me know. And next week it's back to the 1 day a week vlog, but we'll try and mix it up every now and then, every couple of months, just to make it interesting. Thanks very much for following along, guys, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Hit the bell notification, and I will see you next week.